battle of the two tunnels. I've been looking for some time for a two-man tunnel tent that's lightweight, robust in all weathers, outer pitch first, and it's been narrowed down to these two. Tonight I'm going wild camping in West Northumberland, Hexhamshire Common at about 500 metres. It's early March. It's going to be 0 degrees at ground level and probably something like -2 to -3 at 500 metres where I'll be camping, and only one of these tents is coming with me. So which one's it going to be? So the contenders are the Jack Wolkskin Lighthouse 2. This weighs in at 3.2 kilos on the Jack Wolkskin site, costs £625, but it's available at some online retailers for around the 370 mark, but I managed to pick one up on eBay for considerably less than that. Lucky me. And then we have the Vango Xenon Ultralight 2 Plus. So both of these have an extended porch. The Vango, as you can see, is a considerably smaller package and weighs in at 2.4 kilos. On the Vango site costs £410, but on Amazon at the moment is £250, but I managed to get it for less than that through a Go Outdoors price promise. So let's see what's inside. So with the Jack Wolkskin, the tent in the bag, all in one piece together. This is a one-piece pole and peg bag. The guy lines are in here ready to be attached, and there's some rather swanky DAC pegs. A pretty comprehensive repair kit with some seam sealer, a pole repair sleeve and some fabric. I don't particularly like this all in one thing because the pegs have already fallen out. The poles in the Jack Wolkskin are DAC lightweight, they're about 10mm. With the Vango, I love the feeling of the material. It's a better bag in that it's a compression bag. The pegs are pretty average, just some standard Vango lightweight ones. And with the repair kit, there's just some material that looks to be adhesive backed, a little tiny bit of mesh, pole repair sleeve, and the poles themselves are these Yunnan ones that are like super thin. If you compare them to the DAC ones with the Jack Wolkskin, they are mega thin, they're like pencils. So I'm going to pitch the poles are colour coded. There's one orange, two blue, and they just slide pretty quickly on these outer sleeves, and then I'll be attaching them to the standard grommet. So just with 5 pegs in, it's reasonably stable longitudinally. I'm a bit concerned about the fact that there's only one guy line at the side on each of the poles and no guying point in the centre there, so that's a fairly big panel. You can imagine with any side gust it's really kind of like pushing in. So, but I think once you've got more kind of like tension on it, so that situation's got to be better. So let's have a little look inside, shall we? So it's got a tension band system. I haven't done those up yet, so to the stability of the whole thing and the poles, that's going to make quite a difference, I guess. You just need to cinch those up. Got a lovely spacious porch and a door each side. No mesh liner inside the doors, but a mesh there. Fairly small vent really, and then reasonable gap between the inner and outer, so I don't think we're going to get any contact there. And tension band system here again, and it's all this 2mm Dyneema stuff. So here's the inner. I think this is 130 across here. It's nice long, maybe it's 215 I think it is, and pockets all along the side, pretty good. Little pockets up here, and then a tab here for your light, and a tab at the other end for mounting a line. So that's pretty spacious. I'm not going to get in, it's brand new. I haven't decided. There's not a lot of movement to it in this light breeze, but tonight it's going to be howling up on the moors. Really nice. It's just 15D nylon this, and it's got a micro ripstop on it. It feels lovely. It feels gorgeous, the material. Super silky. But will it stand up to the winds? That's the thing. I mean, I know I haven't got it guyed out at all yet, so I'm not being entirely fair. It's a lovely tent, and there's a lot of space there for 2.4 kilos. And I love Vango tents. I've had a few of them over the years, and I really like them. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do, guys and girls, is I'm going to take the Jack Wolkskin, because I know that I can take this one back because I got it from a reputable retailer. The Jack Wolkskin has no returns on eBay, so I can use the Jack Wolkskin tonight. If I feel like I prefer this one, I can just keep it and sell the Jack Wolkskin on. If I decide to keep the Jack Wolkskin, then I can just return this. So let's get in the car, we'll get over to Hexhamshire, get up the moor, get pitched up, and we'll have a look at the Jack Wolkskin. I'll see you there. Right, we've skipped forward a week. I've had the camp on the moor, and I've decided to insert this part now with a proper garden pitch when I've got a little bit more time. So the hill part's fine, but I had a bit of a problem with the microphone, as you'll see, and I didn't get all the comments on there that I wanted to, and I didn't give the tent justice. So I've got it in a bit of a smaller package now. It proved great up the hill, but this is the garden part, and then we'll go on later to the bit on the hill that you can watch if you like, or not, just look at this part for the details of the tent. Cheers. Poles wise, ready to go. We've got two blue sections towards the front, and then a red section, and they've got this kind of like pre-curved arrangement that gives the real tunnel design. Each pole has a blunt end and a grommet end, and they go into these tough blind sleeves at the end, and I really like that because we all know how it feels, that grommet flicking moment. So one of the reasons I wanted to get this re-pitched is because when I pitched it on the hill, as you'll see later, it was going dark, it was raining, and these guy lines came unattached. So one of the reasons I wanted to get it pitched today is you'll see in the video on the hill, it was going dark, it was windy, I was a bit wet, and the guy lines came unattached. So I just looked at that and, like an idiot, I just kind of like clipped it through there and through here and just pegged it out. So not how it should be. So it's quite a clever little system. Now I've figured it out. So they go through here and then take that through there and then put an extra little loop in it. Make sure that goes through that groove at the bottom, and then you've got a guy line that slides quite nicely. You can just get hold of that little grip part there and then it just locks out. So you can tighten it and slacken it to your heart's content. So I guess you could have that little loop out and it'll just kind of like slide a bit easier, and then when you want to lock it out, away you go. So I think that's the right way to do it. Perhaps somebody that has had a Jack Wolkskin tent before that's in the know can correct me, but I wanted to get all these on before I next use it in anger. Oh, here she is. Here she is. These tabs are quite a good feature, but I think you've got to make sure that they're good and slack before you place the peg in. That gives an opportunity to get them tight, and that especially applies to the ones at the front where the short poles are. They are prone to be twisting. Right, now we've got a nice taut pitch. It's inevitably going to take a little bit longer with a tunnel tent of this type to pitch and to tune, but that quite appeals to me, to be honest, to kind of get it right. When I was about 14, myself and some other friends, we won a county scout camping competition, and it stayed with me. It was one of the best moments. So this is the risk section, isn't it? This big panel, but you know, it's end to end. It's pretty solid. It's inevitably going to flex in a little bit, but hey. So we've got plenty of tension in here now. This is the rear with the rear vent that you can open from inside, and at each end we've got a rather cavernous big scoop that's sure to drive a lot of air through. So we've got two entrance doors, the main side one here, and we've got a sneaky extra one right there. So let's go inside and I'll show you those. Straight away you'll see that we've got an inner mesh door here. Pretty nice, so you can cook in the vestibule or hang your wet things up to dry without too many bergs getting in. Fantastic. let's go inside. This ground sheet is from a Vango tent I had, and it's pretty much a perfect fit really, and leaves me with this front area. So that's the other door. I would have quite liked a two-way zip here so you could vent it from above, but hey. There's no clip on the bottom, but there is small tabs so you can put a wee tent peg on. So if you're worried about tension on the zip, or just to make sure that's secure, you can just do that down there. So at each end we've got a high vent like this. So there's a flap on this one that you can put away, and there's the mesh through to the outside and up to the main event. We've got a full mesh door on the inner, and that goes through to the inner. Now, a lot of people don't like this type of door that rolls down, and I'm not a super fan either, but at the end of the day I'm always going to use a footprint, so that's not going to be a massive issue. Inside's really spacious. I think this is about 130 here, and that full width goes down quite a long way, and it goes down to about 110 at that end. Now you might call that far end the foot end, but I found that because the wee pockets are up at that end, you really want to sleep up there. Now if we go to the inside, we've got a line at the top for your gear, and there's other tabs here that you could attach a line to various points, and I'm going to do that today so you can have a few drying lines outside for your wet gear. And then there's the opportunity to add another 3 lines inside. So if you wanted to, you could have 1, 2, 5 lines inside and 3 out here. You could do your whole washing for a week. So this is to the outside main vent. With a corresponding mesh, and then that's lined with mosquito netting as well, so you'd have mosquito netting to the outside and mosquito netting to the inner tent. And then right at the back, that's me lying down. I appreciate I'm not on a mat there, but I found last weekend that I was kind of okay like this, really. Wasn't too claustrophobic. I could lie at this end. And then the nice thing here is you could have air coming through here and going through that vent. So there's mesh there on the outside, and you could get right, oops, you get right through to outside there. So you can have that open. I can feel the air coming through there already, and that mozzie net part there, and that open with mozzie net. So, you know, a number of venting choices, and you could have mesh there, mesh towards the door, and mesh here. So you'd have potentially 1, 2, 3 meshed through flows and then 2 doors adding to the mesh through flow. So, anything else I've missed? The outer tent is a 20D siliconized nylon. The inner, or the ground sheet, can't remember, something like 40 possibly. So I'm going to be pretty happy with this. So we're going to skip forward now to me last weekend going up the hill and doing a winded pitch. Cheers! If you've had enough, just go now, or you can watch me up on the moors. Thanks very much.